Like the Bermuda Triangle in the Atlantic, there was a place in the state of Vermont where numerous people just vanished. Was it a serial killer's doing, or something even more eerie? This is the mysterious case of the Bennington Triangle of Vermont. The Bennington Triangle is a defined area in the now ghost town of Glastonbury, Vermont, and is considered among the most haunted places in the state. Glastonbury was once known for its mountain area, lumber, and charcoal industries, but it's now known for the Bennington Triangle, where at least 4 people have mysteriously disappeared over the span of 5 years. It all started in 1945. The first person to disappear was Mitty Rivers. On November 12, 1945, the experienced hunter and fishing guide led a group of 4 other hunters up the mountain for a weekend trip, a trip that ended with him missing. The panicked group of hunters began searching for the guide before ultimately turning to the authorities for help. The mountain area was swept for any trace of the man, but over a month later, there was still no sign or trace of Mitty Rivers. According to local lore, Rivers disappeared near Bickford Hollow, where another hunter named John Harbor was murdered years before. The second person, and perhaps the most famous Bennington Triangle disappearance, is Paula Weldon. Paula was a student at Bennington College, and on December 1, 1946, she left her dorm for a walk in the woods. The 18-year-old was wearing a bright red coat, and many people in the town saw her that day, including on the long trail. But when the following Monday arrived and Paula didn't show up for her classes, and with no one knowing her whereabouts, the sheriff's department got involved. 400 students and faculty members joined the 1,000-person search party for Paula, which also included dogs and helicopters. After 20 days, with no leads, evidence, or even a body, the search efforts for Paula Weldon ended. Speculations revolving around the case were wild, with some believing she ran off with a boyfriend or died of exposure in the woods, but nothing has been found to support either theory. To this day, some people believe it's bad luck to wear red while hiking the Glastonbury Mountain. Exactly 3 years to the day after the disappearance of Paula Weldon, James Tedford vanished under supernatural circumstances. The 68-year-old boarded a bus destined for Bennington after visiting his family in another town. Multiple eyewitnesses, including the bus driver, saw James in his seat after the last stop before Bennington. But when the bus arrived at the town, James was nowhere to be found. The only evidence James was ever on the bus was his luggage and the bus schedule opened on his seat. If James was, in fact, on that bus, it seemed he would have vanished into thin air as the bus drove down Route 7 through the Bennington Triangle. 2 weeks later, Frida Langer, an experienced hiker and survivalist, was on a hiking trip with her family on the Long Trail. Sound familiar? On October 28, 1950, the 53-year-old was hiking with her cousin when she fell into a stream. She decided to head back to camp, where her husband was resting, to change her clothes and return to the hike with her cousin. When she didn't meet up with her cousin again, he set back to camp himself, believing she was just running late. But there, he discovered that Frida's husband never saw her return. 400 people, including the Coast Guard, U.S. Army, and National Guard, set out to search for Frida. 6 months into the search, they discovered Frida's body near where she was last seen. But that same area had been thoroughly searched many times in the months prior, and there had been no sign of Frida's body then. But even with her body, the cause of death could not be determined due to the decay, leaving the case with no resolution. A serial killer, UFO, or an enchanted stone? These are some of the theories presented to explain the mystery surrounding the Bennington Triangle. There have been many claims over the years of strange lights and UFO sightings in the area around the Glastonbury Mountain, and some believe the disappearances were alien abductions. Others believe it's the work of a serial killer, the Bennington Ripper, or the Mad Murderer of the Long Trail. But the range of the ages and genders of the victims defy serial killer patterns, and no evidence was ever found to prove a killer existed. The Native Americans believed that land was cursed and only used it to bury their dead. There was also the legend of an enchanted stone around the mountain, which was said to swallow anyone who stepped on it. All in all, there isn't much to go on in the investigation of this mysterious triangle, and the fate of the vanished may never be uncovered.